very excited to show you all about our newest system, the MAMMOMAT B.brilliant. We have a system that sweeps at a 50-degree wide angle sweep, so plus minus 25 degrees. And currently the market, we have systems that are at 15 degrees and 25. What's also great about this system, we have features on here that were designed by women engineers. So I don't know if you know any other system that we can proudly say this was designed by women for women. That's right, a woman technologist and engineer helped design this. So we have features such as mood lighting that we can bring to the system, curved paddles, a new design for the detector for patient comfort. But there's also stuff on this system that checks the box for your radiologist, but also your technologist as well. So let's go ahead and deep dive into the patient comfort features. So as you can see right here on our donut, we are introducing this mood lighting that we have brought to the table a little bit different than the past. We used to control it at the workstation. Now the technologist has the power to click the button right here. You have pink, blue, different options. This is great when patients walk in and they're a little nervous about, getting their mammography exam and having to have their breast compressed. They see the lighting, it's fun, it's inviting. Another great feature that we have is our curved paddle. So this is our soft comp paddle. And what I want to really draw attention to is it's rounded in all the right areas. So right here in the front, it's not like that pointy 90-degree angle. So when it's digging up in her axilla, it's a little bit rounded and more comfortable. But also what's great about this paddle is it's made of a different type of plastic. So it's a different polymer. And what I mean is when it touches her breast, it's not that cold plastic feeling, but it really matches her temperature. And that's really important because statistically we know about 46% of women don't come back to get their mammogram. And that's our job. Our mission is that they come back, but they also get an exam done with diagnostic confidence for your radiologist. On the back of our paddles, we have a QR code here. So the system automatically reads and understands what paddle you are using. And so I'm gonna link this back on. And I don't know if you noticed, but the way we attach our paddles, we don't link them, but we plug them in. I can use one hand, I turn, and I pull it out. And I can also do that this way as well. This is great for texts, because it clicks in and the system automatically knows. When I compress, you will also notice that I've reached op comp, and I will talk about that in a second, but I want to really show how it angles up in the back. This is great for your technologists when they have a really difficult breast and they have to, at the last second, remove their hand. It just slides really easily, so they can get the best positioning possible using this paddle. Okay. We do have 3 different paddle options. So this is our middle-sized paddle. As you can see, this one is our 18 by 24 Tomo paddle. So again, it links in exactly the same way. And we also have an even smaller, so I like to say baby bear, mama bear, papa bear paddle size. Our smallest one is really great for your male patients or your patients that have implants. And so as you can see the difference when I link it in, just about the size. But now that I have this smaller paddle, and I do want to also draw attention to our detector. So we have an Ultra HD detector, and this thing is super intelligent, very high depth. And what's great about this detector is it's very wide but narrow, so you don't have that underbelly. I'm gonna bring this system up so you can really see what I'm talking about. But it's a fully active live cell detector. Why is this great? One, with no underbelly for wheelchair patients or patients with a larger gut, it can be difficult when positioning. So we made sure to design this where it's more tucked in to make it easier. But also for a technologist perspective, when you're positioning, other vendors will sometimes have some dead space on the side. We are very fortunate to have a fully active live cell. And we actually have a paddle that touches every end of this detector. The techs really do like this because they can really position, especially those difficult patients. As long as 1 millimeter is touching the center line, and there's actually a red laser right here to help, then you're able to image the patient. And it's an Ultra HD detector. Okay, my next thing I would like to show you is going to be our screen right here called our Comfort Guide. What is Comfort Guide? Comfort Guide is a really great tool for not only your techs, but your patients. And what I mean by that is you're gonna have your patient name on here. So this patient is Carol Jane. And Carol Jane, you can kind of make that confirmation right when the patient walks in. It's great just to make sure you have the right name. We all know how that happens sometimes. but also it's gonna have the compression in newtons, your thickness, and it tells you what view you're doing it. So we're on our right CC at this moment. It says what the next step is, and then it also tells you the rotation. And when this is an MLO, and we can catch this later on when it moves, it'll flip and be a vertical screen as well. So it's really intuitive. But I also wanna show you this OpComp. So what is OpComp? Some people call it like a personalized compression tool. So let's kind of talk about that. So when we went from 2D to 3D, way back when, we found that sometimes we were over compressing, right? Everyone thinks the more compression is the best way to get the best image possible. What I'm telling you is because we sweep so wide at 50 degrees, we're seeing more. We know that we don't need to have as much compression to get the best image possible. So this tool right here, a tool in your toolbox, OpComp, it is super smart. It's an algorithm that knows exactly how much compression is needed for this breast on that day and that given time. We know patients sometimes will either gain a little bit, lose a little bit of weight. So it's not something that carries on per exam every year. But when I lower this paddle, I'm not taking my foot off the pedal. And if you zoom in right here, you will see that there's 2 green check marks that just popped up. So OpComp, or optimal compression, is giving my breast, Carol Jane's breast right here, the best compression possible to get the best image possible. So there's no compromising. And so since I've checked this box, I can say, okay, you've reached optimal compression, Carol. I can add a little bit more, but this is all that's needed for this exam to get the best image possible. Are you okay with that? Most of the time she's gonna say yes. So it's a really cool visual, but as a technologist, you are the expert. So I explain this as it is a bag of tricks. And if you wanna use it, great, I recommend it, but you're in control. So as a tech, you can add and remove compression with this knob. We don't have a hand crank. It's got a little bit motor inside, so you can be at eye level. You can take compression off. You can add a little bit. So that's great. But also as a tech, if you wanna be a tapper, and what I mean by that is a lot of other vendors, when they go to compress, they have to stop and hand crank because they don't want to scare the patient or apply too much all at once. We have something called soft speed. So as I go bring the paddle up, my foot's on that pedal, you'll see it slows down and applies just the right compression. And so you see the minimum, you see the optimal compression. So it's a really great tool for your patients, for your technologists, if they're new to the system and training. And we never used to display this. This is something new to the B.brilliant from our other generations. I would also like to bring attention to our face shield. So this face shield right here is a stationary face shield. So our past generations, we used to have a face shield that would move with the gantry. This one's stationary, and as you can see, it's angled in a little bit. Why is it angled in and not the flat plastic? Well, think about it. If you have flat plastic, it can be very unnatural for your neck, correct? And that can be for difficult patients. It can be a problem for a technologist in getting the best image possible. So what we did was we designed it to go in a little bit. I'll move the system down. That way when you're positioning, they're leaning in rather than bending their neck back. So it's more natural for the shape of your neck, but also it pulls more posterior tissue into our image. So I'm really excited about this addition. Like I said, we didn't have this in the past. Yes, it's stationary, but it's also pulling more tissue for techs, and we're getting good feedback so far. The face shield also can be removed. You just slide it out, slide it back in, and it's super user-friendly. Okay, my next topic I wanna show you is these buttons on the side of this gantry for a technologist is our One Touch. And what I mean by One Touch is our system is very smart. Yes, she looks petite, she's pretty with the colors, but we have to make sure we work with your tech's workflow. And so every time your technologist will log into our system, it knows exactly her protocols. If she does her CCs up front, her MLOs in the back side, maybe Susan does a little bit different than Linda, that's okay. When you log in, everything's ready to go. And let's say if you had to make an adjustment on your MLO, it will automatically make that adjustment on the other side. So it's very smart. You have buttons on here, you can control the gantry, you can move it. There's a ready button that helps start the router. A lot of times with techs, it's important to have fast workflow, but efficient. And so when you hit this, let's say you compress the breast, you've gotten your OpComp, your check mark, I need to add a little bit more compression. I would start and hit this ready button, walk to the workstation, and I can acquire. The system is ready to go. We also incorporated an algorithm called TomoFlow. And TomoFlow helps with our reconstruction process. So sometimes what I've learned, other technologists with other equipment, they have to wait to accept each image. So your patient is compressed, they're nervous, right? Seconds can be a lot of time. And so what's great about this TomoFlow algorithm is it really speeds up that reconstruction process. So by the time the paddle touches skin, I don't have to accept anything. The system's always moving in the background. So it makes it a very fast exam. It's the first system in over 10 years that's been completely redesigned from the bottom to the top. It's not just another system. It's not something we just added a software on top of it, but we have technology inside that's never been introduced to mammography before.